Pokemon games were always on the premise to trade with your friends, but I want to trade with the people of the Pokemon world instead. There are some nice Pokemon to get in Heartgold and Soulsilver, like Onix, Machop, Voltorb, Dodrio, Xatu and some more. I only want to use Pokemon I received in trades and hope they are obedient, but they won't be, at all. Here are the rules. I think the Pokemon challenge will be quite interesting, so let's begin. The beginning is the same, just without a traded Pokemon. First getting a starter Pokemon at Professor Elm. I took Cyndaquil because Totodile seems like the hardest one to beat. After visiting Mr. Pokemon and Professor Oak to receive the Pokédex, I find myself in a small battle against a rival. When that one is done, I get some Pokeballs from Professor Elm's laboratory and the run can officially start. At Route 31 are wild Bellsprouts. I can't use one in battle, but catch one anyway, because I can trade one into Onix in Violet City. I was actually quite happy to receive Onix this early. Rock types are amazing against the first two gyms. But what I didn't realize then was that Sprout Tower is mandatory to beat before the first gym. Just to understand how bad it actually is, I am at level 6 and this is the first trainer in Sprout Tower. The best try I had was this one where I just barely didn't get it, and that was with a critical hit tackle while not receiving one. I need to level up more, but at the same time obedience is a thing here and I need way more luck to beat any trainer in the early game. That will be brutal. After I finally reach the top of Sprout Tower, I get a little scene where the rival throws a fit as usual. But the real important part is the item here, Escape Rope. I'm not able to buy one before receiving the first badge, but I need it at the Alph Ruins to open up the hidden chamber. Here's an Oranberry to pick up. I need this one for the next battle. I usually don't consider Elder Lee a major battle, but in this run he definitely is one. The battle took a while because of obedience. First Bellsprout is not an issue, but the second one can be devastating if I don't hit fast enough. I actually had to look up if rock type attacking moves are neutral against grass. That is very important for me to win. The last Pokemon is Hoot Hoot. All I have to do is to connect with one rock throw, but it takes an insane amount of time, since moves are random and Hypnosis can take off a lot of turns. The Oranberry wasn't necessary, but very welcome. I would have lived on exactly 1 HP, which is very low. Elder Lee is defeated and the hardest battle in the early game is done. That's not true. I think the next rival battle is actually the hardest one. But before I can go there, I have to beat the first gym leader Faulkner, Flying type specialist. He is at such a disadvantage that I don't think it's actually possible to lose here. All I did is one Screech first and then try to hit with Rock Throw to KO Pidgeotto, but that takes a while. I thought it would take so long that I need to fill up the battle somehow, but I hit quite fast and Pidgeotto goes down. Faulkner is defeated. I received the first badge, but more importantly, Onix obeys now until level 20. That is very good to hear. Reaching Azalea Town is always interesting. There are a lot of things to do in this little village. First is cleaning up the Slowpoke well. Proton is part of Team Rocket, but his team does not stand a chance against Onix at all. Zubat goes down in one go, and against Coughing I do the usual mistake. First attack just to follow up with Screech and attack again, needing one more turn as I should. But even while poisoned, Coughing has no chance. Proton is defeated, the Slowpokes are safe again, even though their tails are said to be very delicious. After Team Rocket is gone, the gym of Azalea Town is free to enter. Bugsy is a bug-type gym leader and Onix is his worst nightmare by far. He does not have a single move which can deal neutral damage, and Scyther even got a critical hit, which most likely didn't matter at all. This battle can't get any easier than that. I just feel like I leveled up too much, but I actually avoided every trainer I could. Bugsy is defeated and the second badge is in my pocket, which ups the obedience to level 30, so it's a lot of room to use Onix before I need the next badge. But the next battle will be very hard, and it is in the very same town I'm already in. The rival battle is absolutely brutal. There's no way I can win this. Ghastly is fine, and Zubat would be as well if I get to it, but Croconaw is a huge issue. It just needs to use one water gun to defeat me from full HP, and the damage I did in this try was a critical hit, which I cannot count on. That is bad. I have an idea, but would need to level up quite a bit to get to it. So let the grind begin. At level 22 it's possible to win. Onix learns Sandstorm. While it's active, the special defense of all rock-type Pokemon is increased by 50%. That way I can survive 2 hits if I have a berry equipped. Gastly can make me lose the battle with Curse, so I have to dodge that move. Against Croconaw it's very dangerous. I need to first hit with Screech, and then get a defense drop from Rock Smash, which I didn't in this try, and then KO with Rock Throw. I got lucky and a critical hit happened. Zubat is not an issue, but back to the strategy. I would love to show how it's supposed to work, but I already had over 10 tries to get this win, so I just take it and move on to Ilex Forest. Inside is a little puzzle with some far-fetched to do. After I grab the second one, I get HM Cut to continue to the next big city. In Goldenrod City, the most important city in Johto, I get some new toys, like the bike, the radio card for the Pokegear, and most importantly, I can get a new Pokemon for my team. I caught a Drowsy on the way here and can trade it in for Machop. I didn't realize how great it is. First got Onix for Faulkner and Bugsy, and now a female Machop against the Attract using Whitney. That is actually amazing. The battle was as easy as expected, but took way longer than I first thought. Whitney specializes in normal type Pokemon, and Machop has a super effective move in Karate Chop. Clefairy goes down in 2 hits easily, but Whitney's ace Miltank can destroy Machop with just normal type attacks, so I switch into Onix, and this part of the battle took a very long time. I was stubborn and didn't want to switch to remove the Attract, and stayed in to first use Screech and then KO with Rock Smash, but I wasn't able to land a lot of moves, while Miltank can regenerate a lot of HP with Milk Drink. I know when Onix potentially goes down, I can use Machop to one-hit KO with any fighting type move, but the switch itself could be dangerous, so I stay in until one of the Pokemon in the arena goes down. In the end, Miltank loses to Onix. Whitney is defeated, I get a new badge, but it doesn't increase the obedience and I have some more levels before it becomes a problem. North of Goldenrod City is a tree, Sudowoodo, which looks like a tree, so it has to be a grass type. There's no other way. They called me Sherlock back in the day, but I'm not sure if it was meant to be a compliment. I forgot to grab one item in front of the Union Cave. The old rod seems quite irrelevant to the run, but in Cherry Grove City I can use the old rod to find Krabby. I need this Pokemon very bad. Because in Olivine City, one fisherman is looking for the little water type and trades it in for a Voltorb, the first electric type Pokemon I can get. It is actually quite strong and will be very important for this challenge. And I immediately use it against a rival in the Burn Tower. I trained Voltorb up a bit to make it a strong Pokemon in my team, and it actually quite overperformed. First is Gastly, and before it can do any move, one Thunder KOs from full HP. Purchasable in the Goldenrod department store. Next is Croconaw, and Thunder hits, but didn't KO, just barely. Scary Face delays the inevitable, but one more move and Croconaw is gone. For some reason, the rival shoots Zubat next, but no flinch and hit with another, and Zubat is down too. Last is Magnemite, but I switch into Machop to deal with it. Thunder Wave was possibly the wrong move to use here because of Guts. The rival is out of Pokemon, and I can check out the gym in Aquatic City, but I do not look forward to it, since Machop can't do anything, and Onix might be too weak to handle the Gastly specialist. I tried a lot of things against Morty, but in the end, just brute force is the answer to the ghost type gym leader. I go with Voltorb against Gastly, and at level 26 Voltorb learns Charge Beam, which has a very high chance to increase special attack. I get to use 2 against Gastly, but 1 might have been enough as well. Morty's Ace Gengar is already here and Sucker Punch did a lot of damage, but Thunder hits and KOs Gengar on the spot. Next is Haunter, and Thunder missed just for Haunter to use Curse. So it's now a matter of time until Voltorb loses. Next turn I hit and the last Haunter is here. It only has to use Sucker Punch to win, but it didn't. And one Thunder and finishes the last Pokemon off. Morty is out of Pokemon, and if Voltorb went down in the end, it could have been an issue, but he was so nice to me that he basically just gave up. The next badge increases obedience to 50, which should be enough until the next upgrade. I forgot to get Surf at the Aquatic Dance Hall because I can't use it on any of my Pokemon. I can use other Pokemon for HMs, so I got a little Wooper to help out. A very important item, maybe the most important one, is at the Lake of Rage. Choice Specs boosts the damage of special attacks by 50%, but locks me into using a single move. But that's okay. And while here, I can battle against the red Gyarados. I would love to use it, but I didn't get it in a trade, so it has to go. Suddenly, Lance appears, and he wants me, a little boy, to help him, the champion of the Indigo League, to battle what is basically the mafia of Johto. Yeah, sure, why not? After entering the store with the fake entrance, I'm not sure who the bad guy is, considering Lance just blew a full-on hyper beam on this guy, who may not even know what's going on. Maybe he's even a customer. After clearing out most of the Team Rocket hideout, I find Petrel. He disguised himself as Giovanni. Is Team Rocket's last gimmick just to mimic the good old times? Having a hideout, trying to bring back Giovanni? I'm not sure, but his team is quite interesting. I am so many levels over his team because of special experience and the crazy level curve. I would be able to reach Mahogany Town without Surf, going through the Mount Mortar, so the level would make sense, but I can only enter the hideout after beating the red Gyarados, which needs Surf to battle. It's interesting. He goes down quite easily and Voltorb reached level 30, evolving into an Electrode. I actually would like this Pokemon way more if it did learn any electric type attacks in Pokemon Red and Blue, besides TMs of course, but it's a vital part of the team in this run, that's for sure. After that nice Murkrow showed me the way to the power generator of the hideout, 2 Team Rocket members came up and wanted to challenge me. I would be able to handle them easily, but Lance thought I needed some help and it turned into a multi-battle. Level 30 Electrode and a level 40 Dragonite against a team of really under-leveled Pokemon. I wonder who might win. Anyway, after defeating those two, I deactivated the generator by beating the Electrodes with my Onix. They weren't able to do anything against it, and that concludes the Lake of Rage part. Unfortunately, I don't need to return, maybe next Pokemon challenge. While climbing the light tower in Olivine City, Machop evolves into Machoke. This is one of the few upgrades I receive, which boosts the power of my team immensely, especially for 1 or 2 specific gym leaders later on. At the top is Jasmine and her Ampharos Amphi. It is sick and I have to travel to Cianwood City to get the medicine. Will I do it? Of course I would. Jasmine won't leave otherwise and I need the badge. At Cianwood is this little house and the guy behind the counter has the medicine for me, but before I leave I have one more thing to do. The battle against the gym leader Chuck was very sad. Electrode with Choice Specs and Thunder needs only 2 moves to KO his team. I'm not sure what to say, it's Johto. After beating him I received the badge and I can move back to Olivine City. Here I give the medicine to Jasmine, which lets Amphi get better instantly. That medicine has to be illegal, there's no way it heals up so fast. Afterward, Jasmine returned to the gym, ready for battle against me and my Pokemon, which I never caught in the first place. Steel is an interesting type, well, not against Machoke. The first 2 Magnemites are basically just some experience points flying towards me, which I gladly accept. Jasmine's Steelix is a bit different, but low kick does exactly half, and I thought okay, I need 1, maybe 2 hits, let's go for Leer first and then low kick to KO. It did work out, but just barely. I didn't expect Iron Tail to deal this amount of damage, that was huge. But Jasmine loses in the end, as expected. The battle was quite fun, so let's check out the next gym leader. In Mahogany Town is Price, the Ice-type gym leader. There are some ways to beat him and I chose this one. First a Seal against Electrode, but 1 Thunder KOs from full HP and that's it for Seal. Now comes Piloswine, Price's Ace, and I switch into Onix hoping to get off 1 attack. But no, Mud Bomb comes out and Onix goes back to the Pokeball immediately. I use Machoke next and it has to take a Blizzard to the face to use 1 low kick, which doesn't even KO. But Shell Bell helps to take another one and KO a low kick in the end. Last is Dugong and I wanted to do anything at all to KO with Electrode in the end, but low kick KOs from full HP without a critical hit. Price is defeated and there's only 1 more badge to get, but before that can happen, Professor Elm lets me know. The radio tower in Goldenrod City is under attack by my favorite villain team of all time. And at the top is my best friend Petrel again, this time disguising as the radio tower director. Very sneaky to do that, but while battling him I realized that I heavily outleveled everything already. At this point I have multiple major battles ahead of me, but I'm already at the level where I usually battle against Claire, the last gym leader. Boosted experience is really strong in this game, especially with only 3 Pokemon, but at least I don't have to grind any levels. After Petrel is defeated, he gives me the key to the underground basement, where the real director is supposed to be held. Before I can find him, I have to battle the rival in the underground. This battle was actually the saddest battle I have ever witnessed against the rival. Maybe ever. He starts with Golbat and I go with Electrode. 1 Thunder KOs of course. Next is Feraligatr? Why? I just use 1 more Thunder and it's over for the water type. The rival believes Haunter might do it, but no it does not. 1 hit again. Sneasel was a manga starter for the rival, but against me, I just used Thunder again to KO. First missed, but that's okay. Last is Magnemite and there's no reason to stay in, switching into Onix, negating any electric type move. And then hit back with Dig to KO from full HP thanks to double super effective. This battle was maybe the easiest I have ever done. To be fair, I'm quite a lot over leveled, but there's nothing I can do. After that's done, the director waits in the underground basement. He has the key card I need. I'm not sure if Proton is actually a major battle or not, but his team is considerably worse than any of the other Rocket executives. But I mention him anyway, maybe there are some fans out there. Thunder Miss and Sludge Poison nearly got me, it was pretty close. Well, not really, but the next battles could be worse. Next is Ariana, and I realized I have no answer to Grass-type Pokemon yet. So I brute force it with Electrode. That Pokemon is way better than I first thought it would be, but at the same time, it is 8 levels over the opposing team, which makes me a bit uncomfortable to be honest. Thunder KOs Arbok, 2 KOs Vileplume, I still have the choice specs equipped and another one for Murkrow in the end. It's sad that Machop is not able to learn a move which can deal with Vileplume. Well, it could, but I'm too lazy to get headbutt from the Ilex forest, so it's on me. The last opponent in the Radio Tower arc is Archer, the final Rocket executive, who wants desperately for Giovanni to return and bring a new era of prosperity to Team Rocket. But unfortunately I am here and I want to battle. I have Machop against Houndour and after getting some damage, Wild Throw defeats it. Already Archer's ace Houndoom on the battlefield. I get a lot of damage, but Wild Throw hits again to KO from full HP. Lars is coughing. Why isn't it a wheezing? Come on! I want to use Leer and then Rock Tomb, but it missed and Machop goes down. Using Onix next, I could end it with Electrode, but let's have some fun. Screech decreases defense even more and Rock Slide deals some damage, but Haze was used and all the defense reductions are gone. That was actually funny to see, but Onix doesn't care about that and just gets a critical hit in the end to KO the last Pokemon of Archer. With the battle lost, Archer realized that Team Rocket has no future, considering his boss lost to a 10-year-old, and while he couldn't believe it, he lost to one as well. That is Team Rocket done for good, but I love them. It's the best team from any Pokemon game. Arriving in Blackthorn City, I realized I made a big mistake. A really big one. I can trade a female Dragonair against Dodrio, but I don't have one. So I have 2 options. One would be waiting until I beat the Kanto part of the game to receive the Super Rod and fish one in the Dragon Den. Or I played a Voltorb flip game for a long time to get a Dratini. This is bad, because Dratini is not a Dragonair and I can't use it in battle. Which means I have to get the EXP share from Mr. Pokemon and train up Dratini. I could have done this directly after beating the Red Gyarados, and this would already be over, but now I have to train up my Pokemon some more. Or I put Dratini in the Pokemon daycare, travel a lot of time to give it at least 10 levels. That way it's 5 levels before it can evolve. Until this point in the game I can receive 5 rare candies to level up Dratini and evolve it into Dragonair. It is exactly 5 rare candies, 1 each in Violet City, Aquatic City, the route south of Goldenrod City, the lighthouse in Olivine City, and at the Lake of Rage. With Dratini evolving into Dragonair, I do have the Pokemon needed to trade for Dodrio. That is a very strong Pokemon. I love to use it as well. It is not as great as in Fire Red and Leaf Green because Tri-Attack is now special for some reason, but I try to make Dodrio work anyway. While battling the trainer in Blackthorn City gym, I decided to let Machop evolve into its final form Machamp. It's a nice fit considering it's a trait evolution. The last gym leader of Johto is Claire, the dragon type trainer. Her team is quite a bit special, in the sense that it can be a real problem for certain runs. First Gyarados against my Electrode and one electric type attack is enough to KO from full HP. Next Dragonair and I switch into Onix to negate the Thunder Wave and use one Screech to lower defense harshly. My Rock type goes down and I use Dodrio now, showing its true potential. One secret power KOs Dragonair, thanks to Onix's Screech. The second Dragonair is here and I continue to deal damage. Thunder Wave no hits, but I had a Cherry Berry ready to remove the paralysis, so I can use another secret power to KO Dragonair. Last is Claire's Ace Kingdra and Dodrio's Pluck deals some damage but removes the Citrus Berry, which could be quite annoying. Dodrio goes down and Machamp comes in. One Wild Throw should be enough, but it isn't. Just so that Kingdra's HP gets healed back up to full, and unfortunately Machamp is not strong enough to survive another hit, going down to let Electrode come back in, and one Thunder on the part Water type KOs it in the end. Claire is defeated. She has no Pokemon left anymore, but I won't receive the badge quite yet. Which is quite a shame, because I won fair and square. But after talking to her boss, I received the badge real quick. I suppose everyone has a line they won't cross. After all is done, I get a call from Professor Elm. He wants to give me the Master Ball, which I don't actually need, and I was summoned by the Kimono Girls to battle against them. The battle itself wasn't too bad, but I only did it with my last Pokemon remaining. It worked, so it's fine. At the top of Bell Tower waits Ho-Oh. Unfortunately, it is not a trait, even if I give the Master Ball to receive the legendary Pokemon. So I skip it again to be finally on my way to the Elite Four, the last challenge of Johto. Before I can enter the Indigo Plateau to beat the best of the best, I have to face the rival one last time. He caught his team all by himself, but I just traded for it. Who wins, who can go home. He starts with Sneasel against my Machamp. I don't think it can deal any relevant damage, and one Wild Throw easily KOs, being double super effective. Next Kadabra and I stay in, using Strength to deal a lot of damage, but Reflect is up. Machamp has to use a different move now because of Disable. I got hit by that move way too often. I shouldn't run into it again. After Rock Tomb hits, one low kick should be enough and Kadabra goes down. Next is Golbat, and I know Machamp has no chance to win anymore, but I want a clean switch into the next Pokemon, letting Machamp go down in 2 hits. Electrode is here, and it is the beast I needed to beat the rival. First move and Golbat is down. Feraligatr is next, but I have to continue using the same move thanks to choice specs, but Feraligatr is defeated as well. Haunter is used next, and this can only be an issue if Electrode misses and Confuse Ray is used, but it didn't happen. Last is Magneton, a really strong Pokemon, but I switch out into Onix to negate Spark and then use Dig to easily KO, being double super effective as well. The rival is defeated. This was the last battle, and now comes the Elite Four, the hardest battle gauntlet in this game. I didn't level up anything at all. I just want to see how far I can go, and I think the Elite Four themselves might be doable, but the champion will be way out of my reach, considering I don't even have an Ice type attack on my team. But let's check it out. The first Elite Four member is Will. He specializes in Psychic types. I don't have a clean counter, but Electrode can beat more than half of his team alone. First Xatu, and Electrode has Thunderbolt now from the game corner. Easy KO from full HP. Next is Jinx, and this can be quite dangerous depending on the moves used, because Thunderbolt does over half and Psychic does about half, but the worst would have been Lovely Kiss. Putting to sleep is not good for me at all. Now comes Executor, and I switch into Onix. Why Onix? Because it loses to every Pokemon Will has, and I can use the Dodrio next to hit with 2 plucks for the KO. Psychic did a huge amount of damage and just barely doesn't KO. Slowbro enters the arena and goes for the KO with Water Pulse. That is actually the best outcome for me. Electrode comes back in and one Thunderbolt KOs. Last is Will's Ace Xatu, but Electrode is faster, hits hard enough to beat it as well. Will is out of Pokemon and the first member is done. The next Elite Four member is my good old friend Koga. We have a lot to catch up on, but let's battle first. This might be very hard to beat. First Ariados against my Dodrio. Pluck puts Ariados nearly into the potion range while Spiderweb is used. This is actually quite bad, but I'm not even sure if it works like I think it does. Can I switch out if Ariados goes down? Anyway, I beat it quite easily. Next is Fortress, and I didn't switch because I think Spiderweb still prevents me from doing so, but I didn't even try. I have Machop with Fire Blast to KO Fortress, but even with this very long grind, in the end I just barely KO'd the Steel type, while Dodrio still lives. But not for long. Muk is here, and while Pluck disable Black Sludge, any move will KO Dodrio on the spot, which is just Gunk Shot to be fair. I bring in Machop now and it gets poisoned, which might be useful for the Guts ability. One Earthquake and Muk is easily taken care of. Koga's Ace Crobat enters the arena and I switch into Electrode. All it has to do is hit once with Thunderbolt, and I got it first try. Excellent. Last is Venomoth, and Electrode can only continue to pump damage into it and hope Venomoth goes down before my upside down Pokeball does. Thanks to a lot of full restores, it was quite close, but Electrode came out victorious. Koga is defeated and maybe he does go back to being a gym leader again. Here's the other very well-known Elite Four member, Bruno. He got a little upgrade from Fire Red and Leaf Green, but let's see if he earned it. First is Hitmontop against Machop, and of course it digs underground, but I have Earthquake to KO it this way. I really like this interaction. Next is Hitmonlee, and I still might need Machop, so I switch out into Onix. Again, just to take a hit or go down immediately like Onix is used to do. Dodrio in and Pluck just KOs from full HP, which is amazing. Hitmonchan however survives the hit and can deal a lot of damage with Ice Punch. And unfortunately, Bullet Punch has a higher priority and KOs Dodrio. I use Electrode next to get the clean KO with Thunderbolt, nothing Hitmonchan can do about. Next is Onix and I have to switch out being locked into Thunderbolt. My Machop is strong enough to KO it quite easily in one hit, but has to take 2 hits in return, which worked out until now, because Bruno's Ace Machop comes in and is faster just to KO my Machop, but that's okay. My last Pokemon's Electrode and I have to hope to just deal more damage than I get in return. Because of Machop's ability No Guard, Thunder always hits and that's it. 2 hits and Machop is defeated. Bruno is out of Pokemon and I have to say he earned the new Elite Four spot. The last opponent in the Battle Gauntlet, known as the Elite Four, is Karen. Her team is based on evil Pokemon. Can a Pokemon be evil? I don't know. First Umbreon against my Machop. Confused Ray sounds bad, but Personberry helps out a bit while Cross Chop nearly KOs. Unfortunately, nearly KO is not enough and full restore is used. I wanted to put it into range with Earthquake first and then KO with Cross Chop, but Karen switches out into Murkrow. It would have been amazing for me if Cross Chop didn't miss right now. That was a bit embarrassing for sure. Another one does the trick. Next is Gengar and I didn't really know what I want to do here and went for a move, just getting destroyed by Focus Blast, but Machop was already low so it's okay. I used Dodrio next to get some damage off, but not before getting to 3 HP first. This wasn't the correct choice, but on the other hand Focus Blast hits 3 times in a row, that's crazy. Electrode comes in and KOs, being faster, just what I needed. Karen's Ace Houndoom is very scary, but I have to push forward, using Thunderbolt doing way over half, while Karen speculated on a switch using Nasty Plot. But that was a wrong choice and another bolt KOs her Ace in the end. Only 2 Pokemon remaining, one of them is Vileplume, actually a bad matchup for me, but I try to deal more damage, which works out a bit thanks to 1 miss with Stunspore. I believe there were many spots where I was supposed to lose, but Vileplume goes down in the end. Last is Umbreon again and there's no reason for me to switch up the strategy. I continue pumping damage, but Double Team looks very sketchy right now. First Bolt brings it into full restore range as well, and I got very lucky. It seems I hit with every single move until Umbreon finally goes down in the end. I never expected this, to be honest. Karen is defeated and the Elite Four is over, only the champion is left to defeat. The champion is Lance, the flying type specialist, and this battle is actually impossible. The first real roadblock is the champion, very interesting. Just tells me how strong my team really is. Gyarados is not a problem, of course, and neither Aerodactyl or Charizard would be either, but the Dragonites are just too much. They can tank any hit easily, while Outrage KOs every Pokemon I have in one hit. I think I need to level up some more, the first time since the very beginning. I'm not sure which level to go to, maybe 46, which is the same level Gyarados has. Before I go back to the Elite Four, I grab some more items I got from my mom, and one of it is the Choice Scarf. That is actually a very strong item. I might need it for the final battle. Back at Lance, I leveled to 46 before starting the Elite Four and hope I can get the win. The strategy is very set in stone and see how it goes. First up is Gyarados, of course one Thunderbolt KOs from full HP. Next is a big Dragonite and I switch into Onix. It is now high enough to survive one Outrage, even if barely. It is faster and hits with Screech, just need the setup, that is all. Onix goes down and Dodrio comes next to KO Dragonite from full HP with one use of return. It's very important to have full friendship with your Pokemon, never forget. Next is Aerodactyl, and that means I use Electrode now, surviving one hit, and then KO with Thunderbolt. This try looks like it's perfect. The next Dragonite is here and I switch into Machop while Dragon Rush misses. That is huge, but technically not necessary. Machop has Choice Scarf to outspeed anyway and all I need is one hit with damage. Thunder Wave looks strong against Machop, but it boosts attack thanks to Guts. So it takes a while and a full restore, but at try number 4, Dragon Rush finally hits and crits to KO Machop. That is wild. I use Dodrio again and KO with one return, leaving only 2 Pokemon on both sides. The last Dragonite comes out and I use Return again to deal a lot of damage before going down by a big blizzard. I only have Electrode left and Thunderbolt hits to bring Dragonite's HP down to 0. All Dragonites are defeated. But there's the strongest Pokemon left. Charizard is here, the last 2 Pokemon are on the battlefield. Electrode hits with Thunderbolt and KOs Charizard from full HP as well. Lance has no Pokemon left to battle with and is defeated. I am the new champion, but the Pokemon challenge in Heartgold is still not over. There's the whole Kanto postgame left to do. Arriving at Professor Elm's laboratory, he is already congratulating me by that amazing and overall special win. Nobody else could do it, he said. But he has something for me as well, the boat ticket for the SS Aqua to reach Vermilion City. So let's go on a trip to Kanto. The first gym leader is already here, and since it's Lieutenant Surge, he's of course not an issue whatsoever. I have Machop with Choice Scarf and press on Earthquake until the team is defeated. I'm actually slower than Electrode, that's quite impressive. I could have used Onix here, but it doesn't have Earthquake and Dig just takes too much time. But it doesn't matter, in the end Lieutenant Surge goes down, and I move on to the next city. On Route 8 to Lavender Town are Wild Haunters. I need one later and catch one right now. Makes it a bit easier for me. One of the big quests in Kanto is the Power Plant Generator quest. I get the fetch quest by talking to the manager at the power plant. Afterwards I meet the Team Rocket guy at the Cerulean Gym. He runs away, but I have a bike and when I caught up, he wanted to battle, but it was so pitiful, like most Team Rocket grunts in Heartgold and Soulsilver. I return to the gym, grab the generator parts and return to the manager at the power plant. That restores the electricity in Kanto and I can talk to the radio tower director to receive the new Pokegear upgrade for only 10 bucks. I need it in some minutes, but I want to battle first. The next gym leader I want to beat is Erika, the grass-type gym leader in Celadon City. Her team is actually not that bad. It even has a real strategy with Sunny Day and Solar Beam, but it's not good enough against Dodrio. When I saw Tangelaar's ring out, I was a bit confused why the damage was so high, but it's a special attack and based on my current HP, so it made sense. I switched between Drill Peck and Fly just because, but I think Fly has more power, so maybe I got a KO just because of it. Anyway, Erika's defeated and I receive not only a badge, but also TM for Giga Drain, which might come in handy. With the radio DLC package, I wake up Snorlax. It's blocking the entrance to Diglett Tunnel, and while battling it, I can steal the leftovers. Very strong item, but my team is not bulky enough to use it. Inside Diglett Tunnel are not only Diglets to find, but also Dugtrio. I have still the Master Ball left and use it here to catch it. With Dugtrio in my team, I can talk to the guy at the power plant and trade my Dugtrio for a Magneton. After a long time, a new teammate arrives in the team. Unfortunately, it's also an electric type, but to be fair, Electrode was amazing so far, and I think Magneton can be as well. After Diglett Tunnel is Pewter City, and right inside the Pokemon Center is someone who desperately wants to have a Haunter, and lucky for both of us, I do have a Haunter ready to trade away. I receive a Xatu. Here's also the point I realize, it's the first Johto Pokemon I can use in battle. That is very interesting. With 2 new teammates, I need to put in a grinding session now to bring both of them up to speed. I want to continue at the point where I started the training session, and that is Pewter City. Let's see what Xatu can do to Brock. I was very confused, but also very happy to see that Xatu can learn Giga Drain. The choice specs on top. The damage is too much for Brock to handle. Every single Pokemon goes down in one hit easily. My new Psychic Bird seems to be quite amazing here. Brock is defeated, and I can move on to the next gym. I wanted to use Magneton now, and with the Steel type it resists Psychic type moves, so I battle against Sabrina next. But this battle was very sad for Magneton. Even resisting, Espeon Psychic did over half, while the best move Magneton had was Discharge, and it does about half, so Magneton will just lose. And the damage was including choice specs, boosting the attack by 50%. Doesn't matter, I have the plan B already here. Dodrio has choice scarf, so it can outspeed everything, but it can KO Mr. Mime in one hit, which was a surprise to me. Elekazim, however, goes down in one hit easily. Sabrina's defeated, but it wasn't really the best opponent for Magneton. I think I found one, and of course it is at Pewter City. Janine specializes in poison types and Steel really likes the type. The best move I have is Discharge, but it should be enough with choice specs to run through the team. The challenge here is not to miss against the Venomoth in the end, but Gyarados also survives one hit, which is crazy. And Scary Face might mess up the plan to win with only Magneton here. And for some reason, I didn't realize how strong Venomoth can be. One Signal Beam nearly took Magneton out, and another move KOs Magneton. So Xatu has to handle it here, just using Psychic until the rest is destroyed. Even with Magneton losing here, at least it did something against Janine. Just behind the Nugget Bridge is a nice romantic spot. And of course Misty has a date here. But the guy gets cold feet and runs away. What is happening here? The battle against Misty is really interesting. Quagsire in the team means I can't just push electric type attacks, but I have Magneton with Choice Scarf anyway, because it needs to outspeed everything to deal enough damage. Against Quagsire I switch it into Xatu to negate the Earthquake and then hit back with Giga Drain. But I got a bit overconfident and continue, even though it never stands a chance against Pokemon like Lapras. The only annoying thing in this battle is the fact that this charge is just barely not enough to KO Golduck and maybe even Starmie. But I'm not sure, I got a crit instead. Misty is defeated and that leaves only 2 more gym battles before I can face the final challenge. On a Seafoam Island is a new gym for Blaine, the Fire-type trainer. His old gym was destroyed by a volcano eruption and his team will be destroyed by Machop with Choice Scarf. But I realized in the battle that it wasn't necessary. I am slower against Rapidash regardless, and that Overheat nearly KO'd Machop in one go. That was really scary. But Earthquake hits and KOs everything in sight. So in the end it didn't matter. Blaine is defeated and I return to Cinnabar Island. Blue is here for a little chat. He didn't believe I have the team to beat him, but he guessed wrong. Or that's what I tell myself. I actually don't know if I can win at this point. The final gym battle of the run is against Blue, the rival from Fire Red and Leaf Green. This team is by far the strongest I have to battle against. First is Executor, and I go with Dodrio. Drill Peck does good damage, but one Psychic KOs my flying type from full HP. It was a critical hit as well. I use Xatu next and press on Shadow Ball while full restore is used, but another Shadow Ball right afterwards and Executor is defeated. Next is Rhydon, but Blue doesn't know about Giga Drain on Xatu. I didn't know before this run either. Against Gyarados and possibly Ice Fang, I switch into Magneton, but Dragon Dance was used. As someone who used the Gyarados before, Dragon Dance can be very satisfying, but not against Magneton and especially Discharge. Arcanine enters the arena and I switch out into Onix. Maybe this is the time my rock type can show what it can do. Or not, it just goes down, very sad. I use Machop now and press on Earthquake. Thanks to the Scarf I am faster, but don't KO while Arcanine hits back with Flare Blitz. And KOs Machop from full HP. Thanks to a critical hit. The recoil KOs the legendary Fire Dog as well. Not sure who comes next, I use Xatu, but Pidgeot was used and so I chose wrong. Switching out into Magneton again. The idea is to tank any hit and then swing back with Discharge. Paralysis, I like to see it. Even Citrus Berry is not enough and Pidgeot, Blue's ace, goes down. Blasts Machop, but Magneton did its job, so I just hit for some damage before Magneton's HP reaches 0. I still have Xatu and can use its very powerful psychic to hit and KO Machop, the last Pokemon of blue. He is defeated, the last gym of the run is done, and with all 16 gym badges I can check out Professor Oak's lab. Arriving here, he tells me that this is an amazing feat and I might be ready to face the hardest battle of any Pokemon game. I wonder if I have what it takes to win. I am at the end, the final battle is right before me. I leveled everyone up to 70, still 10 level below Lapras, and I have a strategy ready to execute. Two champions clash in the snow on the top of Mount Silver. A blizzard is raging. Can I win this challenge or is it back to the drawing board? Red starts with Pikachu against my Onix. Iron Tail is used and would KO Onix if not for Focus Sash, surviving on 1 HP. Stealth Rock is used and Hail finishes Onix off. I use Machop next. Thanks to the Choice Scarf it is faster and KOs Pikachu with Earthquake. Next is Charizard, the strongest Pokemon, and Stealth Rock is amazing against it. I switch into Electrode and Air Slash is resisted, while Thunderbolt with Choice Specs is able to KO the Fire Dragon. Now comes Venusaur and I do a little switcheroo, first into Magneton, but unfortunately it wasn't Sludge Bomb, and then into Dodrio. Sleep Powder can be negated by the Chesto Berry, and then Fly into the sky while Hail rains down on our Pokemon, and then Fly finally hits. Venusaur goes down to a slither of HP while Sludge Bomb KOs Dodrio. Hail finishes Venusaur off. I use Magneton next, while Red uses Lapras now. I use Discharge and it does well over half on Lapras, while Brian nearly KOs Magneton, just barely hanging on thanks to leftovers. Another electric type attack and a water ice type Lapras goes down. Blastoise enters the arena and one Focus Blast hits and KOs Magneton, leaving the battlefield for Electrode. I press on Thunderbolt, not sure if it KOs from that spot, but Blastoise's HP went to 0, defeating it. Last is Red Snorlax, maybe the strongest Pokemon in his team. Electrode's Thunderbolt deals a huge amount, but Snorlax came out on top. Not defeating Electrode with Blizzard, but Hail is enough. Now comes my last hope, Machop, and Cross Chop misses. Oh no, Blizzard is used but doesn't KO, not even close. And Machop finally hits with Cross Chop, letting Snorlax HP going down until he is defeated. Red is out of Pokemon. I beat the old champion with only in-game trade Pokemon. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions or advice, please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching and I see you in the next one.